start off with it again.
That face is still the best.
Yeah. So I don't remember if we mentioned it, but yeah, the bar's closing, and I think probably we're saying this a lot. One of my favorites, but it's we're repeating ourselves a lot in that, but like kind of everything in this game is one of our favorite somethings as far as the game goes.
So what is this one favorite of one?
The bar closes. Like, there is no, like, big save the bar plot line. Like, you don't put the band together at the end for the talent show. The bar closes.
Yeah, you're screwed. Like, they tell it to you pretty quick.
Yeah, like, the bar's closing, you learn that early, and by the end of the game, you're not going to have a job, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Though, admittedly, like, Dana does her damnedest to try to get you set up.
Yeah.
Man, I am just jamming into this.
And Dana shows her character here, and like she's worried about Gil. Like she knows that he's got a troubled past, and will probably have trouble finding work after this.
The game even just pretty much hints every now and then that he might even be involved in the actual big guy. Oh, it's Stella! I love Stella!
Stella!
Yay!
I've got my gripes about Stella too, but fuck it. Cat boomers are dumb. It's very good for visual design, but their explanation for it was stupid.
Yeah.
But like her design is... Like, even with the cat ears, her design is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, just, like, it's just so perfect. Like, there's literally not a single not anime thing in there. It's...
Oh, crap. So, yeah, this is probably... Also, another gripe is that her introduction to you is very unbelievable from, like, just a fluid narrative standpoint. She comes off more as just, like, a were you paying attention check. Because she's asking for drinks based on descriptions of them that we've gotten through dialogue that aren't actually in your bartending program thing. So you have to remember them. I don't remember this drink. And granted, the consequences for screwing this up aren't that severe. She doesn't give you rum that you can serve the patrons. I don't think you ever need to serve anyone rum. I don't, Thanks to technical difficulties, I was able to be a huge coward and look up what Stella wants.
Best kind.
Also, I'm a huge liar, too, because the description for the drink that got its name changes right here.
Still, kids, let this be a lesson to you. Cowardice always pays off.
Just like that soccer team from the Olympics said, it's okay to be a coward if you win. Did you hear about that?
I actually did not.
It was like the Swiss team, I think, beat the American team, and one of the American players was real salty about it because all the Swiss team did was they scored and then played keep away with the ball just to keep it away from anyone's goal because they were ahead, so they didn't have to. It doesn't matter how much you win by if you win. And the American team, I think the goalie, or I don't remember. I don't follow sports ball that much.
What is sports ball anyway?
But they were real salty about it, and the coach is just like, it's okay to be a coward if you win.
It's like it brings tears to my eyes. It's so on point.
But let's talk about Stella again.
Okay, and not things that are outside and in fresh air. So yeah, Stella's pretty cool. I will kind of admit that, you know, for my problems with, like, the cat boomers dumb thing, character-wise, she kind of fits a very nice niche. of kind of being like the spoiledy princessy type, which is kind of, the benevolent, privileged person is kind of getting to be a tired trope in its own right, but I think she kind of keeps it fresh.
Would you call her an Ojo-sama?
I really don't think I did.
But would you?
Her hair's not dark enough, sorry. So, before I was so coldly interrupted, the benevolent privileged person type is kind of getting to be a new trope that's already starting to show its short tooth. But I think she kind of keeps it fresh in kind of being understanding and very sharply self-aware that she's kind of definitely, well, she understands that she's kind of in like the best place that you possibly can in the worst city in the universe. And so she'll still be very opinionated with what she says, but also still pretty understanding that, but I get that I'm not the one who should be talking here. And also, they just kind of admit that she's not perfect and she has done things that she's kind of ashamed of. So I kind of enjoy her a lot for that.
Yeah, she's an heiress to like the big corporate power that runs Glitch City. I don't recall the name. I don't even know if we even get it. We probably do. Mm-hmm. And she admits that they're into some dirt.
And she admits that she herself has done some pretty crooked stuff.
But she also tries to look on she tries to be optimistic about it and think of all the good that has been done, especially for like the advancement of Lilims.
But at the same time, she isn't like totally like forgiving or ends justifies the meanie or meaning-y or anything like that. And plus, she's Say's bestest best pal, so that like already wins her 5,000 points.
Yeah, she's already like a foot in the door to our hearts just via association with Say.
Mm-hmm.
For me, like, what really just, like, cements the design is the eye.
It's eye? Yeah, but it is, like, really perfect. Also, it's just nice that...
Yeah, the fact... Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Oh, I even like that, even just her static thing. There's just something animated about it that just adds that nice little touch that you need.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. But the eye being animated actually adds a lot. Like, it's along with the ears, too, is that the character portraits, except for the mouth flaps, are largely very static. They'll change expressions, but even within those expressions, they'll be static. But, like, Stella here, the eye is rotating, she's blinking, the ears fidgets. Her portrait is a lot more dynamic and makes her stand out a whole lot more.
And just look at it, it's just big. It's just kind of got this nice silhouette shape. It's kind of makes her look twice as large as she really is. And it's got all these sharp reds and blacks and whites. It's just a very good looking portrait.
Yeah, if I had to say something negative, because we always do.
Mm-hmm.
We can't just like anything. I'd say that her color palette blends in a little too much to the background.
And that's fair.
But otherwise, like, it's A+. A double plus.
A double plus. I think I've also seen the most sexy fan art of her thus far out of the whole cast.
Stella, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The unfortunate thing that I think it all came from one sprite art that didn't even make it into the actual game. The blog for the developers of this game posted some art of her drunk, and I don't think you can ever actually get that art in game.
God, they're so cute.
They're also the color palette, contrasting color palettes.
are also very, very nice. I love how they're pretty much like Sayaka and Kyoko, but likable.
Pretty much. Weird, an anime reference in this game.
Right?
Those never happen.
Also, like... What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I also just kind of like how she's just kind of like a better take on the tsundere archetype than I've normally seen. Like, they just kind of don't have as whiplashy and as sort of... She's believably guarded, I would say. Instead
and she's
of
also
just being
not a... Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Instead of just
also,
a
I think it helps that
idiot.
she's not a... Yeah, I think it also helps that she's not a tsundere for you, the player character. That makes it a lot more palatable.
Mm.
Because when she flies off the handle and gets mad about someone, it's because she's worried about Sei. And you have reason to be worried about Sei.
I mean, like, we were worried about Sei the instant she walked in the door on day one. Also, like, there's pretty much no Yuri in this game, and between the two, that's a damn shame. Like, I'm just putting that out there right now.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing official, but, like, they don't do exactly much to discourage you either, so...
Yeah, they
Head
drop
cannon
hints.
away!
You're gonna
No one
need
can stop you.
Yeah, you're gonna need a lot of headcanon for this game, to be honest. Like, I don't want to say, like, they left a lot of plot threads, but they left a lot to the bare bones, so use your imagination. I know I certainly am.
Like, you can pretend like they didn't put that line in about Stella's boobs actually being super big. I forget about that a lot.
Yeah. Either pretty much like, hey, are you coming? Nah, just a minute. Alright.
Because bacon's a meme. That's why it smells like it.
Because there's literally no other meat for it to smell like. Great, now I want bacon. Thanks this week, now I want...
Fan of it. I'm actually not a big fan of bacon. Like, every once in a while, like, some nice bacon here and there is good, but, like, overall, like, I'm not one of those people who's like, I have to have bacon on every single thing that I eat because bacon makes everything better. I have to make the bacon cookies. Like, what? Why would you monsters?
You never had bacon cookies? Yeah, you haven't lived. Close
I'll
reading
stay
of
dead,
Valhalla.
then.
Close reading of Valhalla. Let us debate the validity of bacon cookies. No, forget bacon cookies. Bacon apple pies. No! No! In text. In text. Ugh. Zaibatsu Corp. That's the name. That's the
Zaibatsu
name.
Corp, makers of the famous ATM machines.
Hey, they print money.
Like, I don't... I know, like, a lot of cyberpunk has a Japanese aesthetic to it, or has Japanese, inspiration to it, because that's where a lot of... during the cyberpunk boom, that's where a lot of advanced technology was coming out of, and a lot of people were like, Japan's gonna take over the world with technology. They're smarter than all of us. They have the robots. But,
Back
like,
when we thought, like, computers could make, like, the Tron verse and not just Photo
Yeah.
Bucket and Twitter.
But, like, we've already established that, like, other languages exist, so why would any company call itself Zaibatsu Corporation?
Yeah, huh.
It's not like Japanese doesn't exist anymore, or at least it probably still exists, so, like...
Yeah, well, aesthetic choices. Oh yeah, I forgot that, like, Sei accidentally hits on Dorothy, too.
She kind of hits on everybody just because she's nice. Also, I love that Sei just doesn't understand how to order 2 drinks. So we're both gonna have the same one, right?
Honestly, it's one of those things that I think they were originally using it just for kind of more of a weird quirk humor, but I kind of like the weird implication that Sei might kind of have an ambiguous something disorder line. Like, she kind of is really overly literal with terms. Stella drops a couple hits that she's kind of had difficulty with just actual written material in school, which is kind of why she got into the Valkyrie Corps, just to do something a little more active.
Hands-on.
If, like, the implications there, I actually kind of oddly appreciate it, just because they drop it in enough and kind of make it enough of her characters to demonstrate that a lot of it is just kind of affected by just, like, her inability to advance in certain fields just because of, like, her difficulties learning, and still trying to find the best way to alchemate that based on her own personal moral compass. The downside is it's mostly just kind of used for jokes, so kind of any interesting development from that is only just, once again, very, very faintly read between the lines.
Yeah, it's probably completely unintentional on our part. They just wanted to... She's just supposed to be like the kind-hearted idiot archetype.
Which is a damn shame. It would have been a nice twist.
Well, that's the joy of fiction these days, is that everything you think about it is true now.
Yeah, the author is, like, not just dead, but super turbo dead.
The author, we killed the author, we dug him up, and then buried him again.
And then turned him into a
this
zombie.
time.
And then shot him.
Yeah.
And then buried them deeper.
And then burned the grave.
And then put asphalt over it and burned the asphalt. Man, we're just not doing well with this close reading thing this time around, are we?
Well, we're in the weird lull right now in between. We're still in the introductory stage of characters. The next day or two is whenever we start to get, like, real plot lines for characters start up. We have Sei in the bank is the big one.
Basically, the long start of everything kind of going to hell and nothing stopping from not going to hell.
But here's a good example. We talked about this earlier of Sei following her moral compass and doing the right thing for her is more important than doing the correct thing. Whereas, like, she's just listing down all of the illegal modifications Dorothy's made to her robot body and pointing out how easy it was for her to see them. And instead of doing the legally correct thing, which would be turning Dorothy in, she's just giving her a heads up.
Just because she kind of appreciates that Dorothy is a sex worker in a dangerous world, and just is like, hey, if you need this for self-defense, here's a better way for you to not get caught.
Yeah. Just be a little more careful.
It's sad, but it's just like she kind of has a painfully realistic understanding of the approach. Even Sei, ultimately, along with Stella, knows that her division that she works for is fundamentally sort of scummy. But she still believes in just kind of the higher idea that she was told they aspire to, and she herself is working hard to aspire to. And that's just something that consistently saves her character, while still just kind of giving her that realistic, but this is Valhalla. I am going to nearly die in a bank in less than 12 hours.
Yep, and she even gives her advice that, like, if you do have an altercation, one shot to the arm or leg is self-defense. Anything more can get you in trouble. So, Sei knows her stuff. Like, she... I guess you could, if we want to continue to read into Sei's characterization, she could be sort of an example of experiential learners versus book learners. The different way people assimilate information into themselves, and that Sei did not do well in school. She does not do well learning, through more traditional means, but, like, she picks up stuff fast and well whenever she's doing.
Time for some sex psychology.
Though that's what we've been waiting for this whole time.
You're playing a cyberpunk anime-esque game. Of course you are.
Maybe she just explained the entire plot right now.
Yeah, huh? Pretty much.
Well, not the plot, but Jill's plot.
Yeah, pretty much. That is also pretty much right.
Yep. If you're vague and broad enough, eventually you'll be correct.
Also, this is just kind of the most faintly everyone is interested in you, but it kind of goes nowhere game.
Yeah. Which is I don't know if that's a good subversion or just a playing lip service to your typical visual novel protagonist.
Well, it doesn't feel out of place either way, so I'll buy it.
Apparently Dana has a long history of getting her head stuck in things. Which is, I guess, one of my... If I had to say something negative about Dana, which we always do, we've already established this.
Yeah, we can't just... This is fine.
Yeah, we just can't like a thing. Is that I feel like they get a little too zany with her. At times, like, oh, she's getting her head stuck in things. She just can't help herself doing stuff. Like, oh, she's so crazy and wacky.
Yeah, there is a time. Honestly, sometimes it's just the game has a really good sense of humor. I really think it's fundamentally okay, but it just kind of works a little too hard to pad sometimes. And sometimes it kind of has, like, the necessary unfunny that works. Like, there's going to be a great example of that later. But sometimes it is just... doesn't quite hit the mark that they're trying to do.
Yeah. I guess I would have just preferred it myself if they had dialed it back like 2 notches. I guess mostly what I'm saying is that I don't mind Dana being sort of like edge of her seat, kind of flying by instinct kind of person, but like at times the way they portray her seems almost bumbling.
And that's really not her. But don't worry, Ray, everything will turn out alright in the end.